Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm Bill Spencer. You know, Thanksgiving is the one day out of the entire year when we really need to call to mind our blessings, everything we have to be thankful for. For us at the Spencer Solves It team, our greatest blessing comes from helping people in our community who thought they were at the end of their rope, people who desperately need help but can't get it and have come to believe that simply nobody cares. Well, Brian Shirley was one of those people. A former firefighter, he lost his right leg to amputation. And because he didn't have a job or health insurance, couldn't even afford a prosthetic leg to walk on. That is, until he contacted Spencer Solves It.
We're going to pull the pin, you're going to take your nozzle, you're going to aim at the base of the fire.
For more than 30 years, Brian Shirley, the big man, taught us all how to protect ourselves from fire as media spokesperson, firefighter, and assistant EMT for the Cy-Fair Volunteer Fire Department.
Today we're out just checking fire extinguishers.
Brian's life was literally dedicated to protecting folks.
It's just been very, very heartbreaking to me that I can't be out there helping people because my whole life I was out there helping people.
But 9 months ago, Brian's life suddenly came to a crushing, life-altering stop. He developed a horrifying infection in his right foot, which then turned into flesh-eating bacteria. And within weeks, Brian was forced to have his leg amputated.
It was so aggressive, this flesh-eating bacteria that he had in his body, that if they had it, we had to wait it until the next morning to get medical care, that he would have lost his life over it.
Oh, but Brian lost more than just his leg. Unable to work, he lost his restaurant job, lost his home, lost his car, and was suddenly left without health insurance and no way to pay for the one thing he needed most, a prosthetic leg that would actually allow him to walk again.
I feel like I can't provide for my family right now, and that's the hardest part.
That's when Brian reached out to me and the Spencer Solves It team. And immediately, we contacted the prosthetic limb artisans at Unlimited Prosthetics in Houston, who immediately began crafting a state-of-the-art prosthetic leg specially designed for Brian and his needs.
We built together a prosthesis for Brian Shirley that not only will help him to get up and get started to walking, but it'll actually help him to advance to further capabilities.
Brian, it's been 7 long months. You have not been able to stand on your own power. You ready to take a couple of steps?
Ready to give it a try?
Now, a moment almost impossible to describe. After months trapped in a wheelchair, Brian is walking.
Right now I'm just feeling so grateful to everyone.
It's a big man, isn't it?
Yeah, extremely big.
God bless you, man.
Thank you, brother.
I want you to know that Brian is now walking faster and stronger every day and hopes to be going back to work soon. So from Brian, the brave firefighter, we now go to an undercover narcotics detective whose home was hit by a massive storm. And because of that storm, has been living in a death trap ever since. Inside their small, humble home in Bleeberville, Texas, Charles Allen and his wife Stacy are doing their best to hold things together, while parts of their 35-year-old home are literally falling apart.
You know, the whole thing is devastating to have to live this way. We've never lived this way, never had to be in fear of our lives.
The fear the Allens are living with is the daily threat of their entire roof collapsing and falling in on them. Not just them, but the 3 beautiful grandchildren they're helping to raise. 4-year-old Kaylee, 7-year-old Kenzie, and 4-year-old Quaid.
The whole roof itself could collapse and possibly, you know, kill one of us, hurt the kids, kill the kids.
You see, during Hurricane Harvey, several trees came crashing down, punching a whole series of large holes in Charles and Stacy's roof. For 3 long years now, they've had water gushing into parts of their home, including the bedroom.
It's getting worse all the time. It's falling down, you can tell.
But the saddest part is that Charles spent 24 years as an undercover narcotics officer for the Texas Department of Public Safety, putting drug dealers behind bars. He risked his life almost every day. Now he's doing it all over again, just living here. Now, working with the crew from the Roof Repair Squad, a company out of Katy specializing in expert commercial and residential roof repair, we're going to fix all of the holes, the rotting substructure, the moldy wood, and the insulation, and put an entirely new roof on Charles' home.
On the inside, we had to replace a lot of sheetrock. I think it was over 12 sheets of sheetrock that we had to replace.
Now, weeks later, thanks to the roof repair squad, the job is done. Here in the interior of the house, where they did have gaping holes in the ceiling, literally falling apart and falling in, they now have a brand new ceiling that took workmen close to a week to install. In addition to that, it took 8 men working a full day to replace this entire roof, a job that would have cost altogether about $15,000. Most importantly, we finished that work before Houston's massive winter storm hit, which could have brought this entire roof crashing down.
It could have been deadly for us or the children.
For all of the help, Charles is deeply moved.
So proud of what Bill Spencer and Channel 2 News has done for us, the way they fixed our house and got right on it.
There's not enough words that we have to say, but thank you, thank you.
Yep, just fantastic work. Now Charles and his wife and their grandkids will have a dependable roof they can rely on for years to come. It's one thing to replace the roof on a house, but how about an entire church? The Spencer Solves It team got the call, and we went to work. In rural Tarkington Prairie, just outside of Cleveland, the God-loving members of the Davis Hill Baptist Church make their way slowly into this small, aging, poor little sanctuary.
And he took them up in his arms and put his hands upon them.
But despite their size, there's nothing small about the faith of this mighty little congregation.
We do good work here. We do God's work here.
When I die, hallelujah, by and by.
But despite all the love and faith in this old church, the building itself is in big trouble. For several years now, the roof has been leaking badly every time it rains. And unless it's completely torn off and replaced soon, the roof at Davis Hill will eventually come crashing down.
It's devastating to know that our church is falling apart, you know, one rainstorm at a time.
This was the church that I love, and I don't care what it looks like or anything.
Oh, it's not that the church elders have not tried to fix this roof themselves. They've patched it countless times, and still the roof is failing, threatening to fall right in on these faith-filled people.
I wished we all had the ability to jump up there and grab nails and hammers, but there's a lot of older people in this church.
So without any insurance and having been turned down for several loans, that is when the people of Davis Hill contacted Spencer Solves It. And right away, we call on Gene Lessman, the president of Lessman Roofing and Sheet Metal. Now, Gene and his assistant and myself all hit the roof to assess the damage. This is a pretty large roof, though, isn't it, Gene?
Yes, sir, it is.
After doing a thorough inspection of the entire roof surface, Gene determines it will need to be completely replaced, but he will do it absolutely free.
I mean, this whole section here is leaking good.
What would it be like inside the church when it rains?
Well, it looked like a rainforest in there.
For these church members, their prayers answered.
I'd like to thank you and let you know how blessed we feel. Thank you.
Thank you. It's not your birthday yet.
In the end, we replaced the entire roof on that church, a $40,000 job that Gene Lessman and his crew did absolutely free. And talk about big projects. In March of this year, I met a group of people from Afghanistan who were literally airlifted here by the United States government to save their very lives. And at that time, I learned there was something they wanted for their children desperately, but could not get. Take a look now at what that led us to do. 1 year ago, August 2021, chaos and fear. The fall of Kabul, thousands of people desperate, trying to get out of Afghanistan to safety. Some of these people did make it out, airlifted to the United States, and some were brought right here to Houston.
We started getting notifications that thousands of Afghan refugees, they will need to be evacuated from Afghanistan.
These are the bravest of people, Afghans who worked side by side U.S. military forces for years. Most of them had to leave everything they owned behind. Interfaith Ministries provides housing and other basic necessities for these people.
Okay.
When I met these families earlier this year, there was one thing missing, something all of the children were wishing for.
They told them we need bikes.
At the time, we did bring them a few bikes.
Thank you, sweet. Thank you. God bless you.
But we needed more. a lot more. So that's when I started hunting for a large retailer to help us out.
People will respond to crisis, and people are very generous.
And in the end, the great people at Walmart stepped forward, agreeing to provide whatever we needed.
Bill, it's going to be about 80 to 100 bikes. We're going to have a lot of associates go and start building these bikes to be able to give back to the community. We're really excited to be able to partner with this organization to give these bikes away.
Now, Ricky Munoz and the Walmart team will help volunteers get those bikes road ready.
We're going to show you guys how to build the bikes. Not only we're just going to build them, but we're going to show you how to secure them so nobody can get hurt. And we're going to be able to school you step by step so nobody makes any mistakes.
And once built and tested, we'll work with Interfaith Ministries to distribute these brand new, beautiful bikes to the children of these heroes.
What makes America great and what makes us a great city and great people is that our compassion and we care what other people are going through.
Being able to donate and give that smile to somebody who doesn't have the opportunity like everybody else does really makes you think how the world really is right now.
Well, I told you we'd get brand new bicycles for every single child, and we did just that. I worked out a great deal with the fantastic people at Walmart who agreed to donate more than 100 bicycles. Of course, those bikes had to be put together, which leads us to part 2 of this project, which took place right here at Channel 2. There is nothing like the gift of a brand new bicycle. And today at KPRC 2, the Spencer Solves It team, in partnership with the great people at Walmart and Interfaith Ministries, went to work building more than 100 bikes to be delivered to the children of Afghan refugees tomorrow. These are children airlifted out of Afghanistan 1 year ago this month, along with their parents, to save their very lives. They were brought here and given the necessities of life, but the one thing they wanted most, they didn't have. The children wanted bicycles, like all of their American friends.
How many of us remember, growing up, one of the things that we wanted more than anything in the world was a bicycle?
It makes us feel great to be able to be out here and to help with this. I mean, what kids don't love riding a bicycle?
Today, under the direction of Walmart trainers, many of us at KPRC2 News joined with our KPRC2 insiders and volunteers from Interfaith Ministries to put these bikes together. Bicycles, which we will hand deliver to a total of 109 Afghan children all day tomorrow.
So Walmart is donating around 109 bikes to the Afghanistan refugees' children, right? And what we did, we brought them to the news station, and partnering with you guys and another organization, we're putting them together, assembling them, making sure they're built correctly so we can give them to the kids tomorrow.
The bikes that you all are providing today for these kids, this is an amazing gift to Interfaith, and it's an amazing gift to our Afghan clients.
Gangway, coming through. So get ready, everybody. Here we come, about to brighten the lives of a lot of children who truly deserve it. Yep, we did it. All thanks to Walmart, our KPRC2 insider volunteers, and of course our employees here at KPRC2. We got every one of those bikes built, and the very next day, we delivered them to some very excited children. Take a little ride? Yeah. Okay, let's go. Her name is Hura, which literally means angel from paradise. Yeah, you're doing good. Yep. Hura is just one of the more than 100 Afghan children that the Spencer Solves It team, working alongside Walmart and Interfaith Ministries, brought brand new bicycles to today. These are all children who had their lives ripped apart when Kabul fell to the Taliban last August, and they had to be airlifted out of Afghanistan by the United States to save their lives. But today, that dreadful time seemed very far away as these children climbed aboard their brand new bicycles for the very first time.
Now we are very happy. These are brand new bicycles and they are very happy to receive them.
Mir Zaman, bringing all 4 of his children to pick out their bikes today. Thank you and God bless you, he says, for your kindness. Fatima F. brought her 3 kids, Hadia, Hasabella, and Sahar. Without your help, she says, my kids would have nothing.
It's very important for me because we are right now we are jobless. We don't have a job to buy a bicycle or any other thing for my child.
I'm so happy that this bicycle is given to me.
Yes, all of these bikes, 109 of them to be exact, are being donated by the great people at Walmart. Ricky Munoz is a manager with Walmart and led the effort to get these bikes built yesterday and delivered to the children today.
Coming in here and seeing all the families, the smiles, the children just smiling and laughing, it really, honestly, it makes us feel like we're a part of something huge.
Bill Spencer, we are so grateful to you. You kicked this all off through your project, and we could not be more thankful.
How do you describe the magic that comes from a young child's smile? Today, these beautiful Afghan children remind all of us how we felt when we got our first bike and took our first ride.
Thank you.
Man, that was a fantastic day. And I've got to tell you, ever since then, the parents of those Afghan children tell me their kids have so much more freedom now. They're able to get around the neighborhood. They're able to get out and see their friends on their brand new bikes. This year, we also met a U.S. Navy veteran who also desperately wanted to get around, but without a power wheelchair, he felt like a prisoner. That's when we went to work. It's just about the last thing in the world Navy veteran Cameron Meredith thought he'd be doing, reduced to being bathed like a child by his wife, Zaina. You see, Cameron is a former rough and tough chief petty officer who served 20 years in the U.S. Navy. He served in both Afghanistan and Iraq and sailed the world aboard the USS Shiloh.
Thank you.
But for 2 weeks now, Cameron's been barely able to move out of this chair after having full ankle replacement on his left leg.
I don't have any way to get around. I mean, I have a walker, but I need something that I can actually get around or stuff I need to get done.
Watching him having to hop from the chair to the bathroom, that's not right. That is not right.
The problem is, after having ankle surgery 2 weeks ago at the VA, Cameron says the Veterans Administration told him they would be providing him with a wheelchair 1 week later, but it never came.
He should have left the hospital in a wheelchair. I was like, where's his wheelchair?
After 2 weeks and still nothing, that's when Zaina started contacting everyone she could think of.
How bad's the pain?
Including me.
I want him to be able to have some freedom. I want him to be able to go back to work.
So you've been in that chair for 2 weeks right now, basically unable to move?
I'd like to see what the outside is like again.
And within 12 hours, the Spencer Solves It team had already located a beautiful, like-new $3,000 power wheelchair, perfect for Cameron's recovery. The chair being provided absolutely free, courtesy of Tom, Luke, and Ray Manzano, owners of Triple M Mobility, a company that specializes in servicing and selling power wheelchairs and scooters.
The system have failed Mr. Cameron, so we feel like we should step up as a community and do the right thing.
He's looking for some type of independency. He wants to live life. We are able to give that to him.
All right, guys, I got your new wheelchair for you right here. And now, after weeks of frustration, finally some relief for this Navy man.
I really appreciate everything. I mean, in a moment's notice, you got this for us, you, your channel, and everybody involved in it. I appreciate everything they did.
Thank you for your service,
Thank you.
Cameron.
Appreciate
You're the best. 20 years in the Navy. Dear, God bless you. If you've seen many of my Spencer Solves It stories, you already know that I have a huge place in my heart for veterans. My father was a veteran, which is why this next story was so moving for me. In fact, we spent months on this project and traveled all the way to Nebraska to bring a man named Nathaniel Ingebrigtsen something he thought he'd lost forever.
Roger. Hey, what I need you to do, I'm pulling back Lima 3 right now to mount up and go south.
It's a day Nathaniel Ingebrigtsen will never forget.
We're actually heading back towards our home base in Iraq. 3 of us in a Humvee. I was actually in the gun turret. As I'm sitting down, IED goes off. That's about the closest to death I've ever come.
For 16 years, U.S. Army veteran Nathaniel Ingebrigtsen dedicated his life to fighting for our country. He served in Bosnia, Germany, and Iraq. But when he was nearly killed by a roadside bomb that showered both he and his Humvee with jagged pieces of shrapnel that shredded his helmet and cut deeply into his face, arms, and hands, he was awarded the Purple Heart for his sacrifice.
I went over there and I left a piece of me over there. And I came home with a Purple Heart.
But 10 years ago, in a move Nate made from Texas to Nebraska, that precious symbol of his bravery went missing, lost in storage. Lost, Nate thought, forever.
It means everything. He didn't think he'd ever see it again, so it was like a piece of him was missing.
And then, suddenly, several months ago, another veteran, Travis Cairo of Seabrook, discovered a whole box of Nathaniel's military memorabilia at a storage unit auction.
First thought was, wow, I can't believe I just found a Purple Heart.
That's when Travis called me and the Spencer Solves It team for help.
My mission is to work hand in hand with you, and let's make sure we get this Purple Heart back to where it belongs.
Let's take a walk in here.
Okay.
I was able to locate Nathaniel 1,000 miles away at a disabled American Veterans Hall in Fremont, Nebraska. And now, we're about to hand deliver the pieces of Nate's life he thought he'd never see again.
Something you've waited a long, long time to see. Nate, this
thing is beat up.
Is your Purple Heart. Sir, this is for you.
Nate would tell me later he couldn't even speak, just too overwhelmed with everything.
Nathaniel, for your sacrifice and your service and everything you've done for all of us, God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You feel good?
I'll let you know later on. when I get home and it all hits me.
Yeah.
Nathaniel is simply a great man, and you know that every day he still works with other disabled American veterans? It is simply his gift to all those who serve. And on the subject of gifts, this year we set out to give a gift to a hardworking man named Doug Barry, who'd been praying for this gift for several years now. It is a gift, he says, has changed his life. At 51 years old, Doug Barry has been a lot of things in his life. A wild rock and roll drummer, a carpenter, a maintenance man, a biker. But the one thing he never dreamed he'd be is blind.
It was terrible, frightening, man. I don't like not being able to see. Something happened and I went blind.
It turns out that due to a rapidly accelerating case of cataracts, Doug had become legally blind in both of his eyes. With no health insurance, he couldn't afford cataract surgery. And without his eyesight, he couldn't work.
I'm a carpenter, so, I have to see things. These are my tools.
He couldn't drive, he couldn't work. Went bad really, really quick. And then rent's coming up.
Suddenly drowning in debt and desperate, Doug and his wife Denny borrowed $5,000, enough to remove the cataracts from one of his eyes, but not both. Now, 3 years later, Doug's been told he has to have surgery on that second eye or risk never getting his eyesight back. So Doug contacted the Spencer Solves It team.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Dr. Kaplan.
Now, thanks to the generosity of Dr. Michael Kaplan of the Berkeley Eye Center, a specialist in cataracts who's done charitable surgeries all over the world, we're going to get Doug the surgery he desperately needs to restore his sight absolutely free.
Just look straight ahead, and we're gonna just take a look at your eyes. Your cataract is so big, we can't see the back of your eye. And so, as long as the rest of the eye is in good shape, then you should be able to regain the vision you had before the cataract came back.
Now, all Doug can do is pray.
Oh, right now I'm overwhelmed.
Please, Lord, let it happen. Let him get his eye fixed.
We'll get back to Doug in a moment, but first, how prevalent are cataracts? According to the National Eye Institute, more than 24 million Americans over 40 suffer from cataracts, and at age 75, 50% of us will have them.
So we're gonna put you up in this little microscope here.
How do you know if you're developing cataracts? Dr. Matthew McCauley explains.
Sometimes their nighttime vision will start to change. They might have some glare with headlights and street lights and things like that. They might not feel like they can see the distances and judge distances as well at night.
Getting back to Doug now, it is finally the big day, and Doug is wheeled into surgery.
Doug, I need you to look right at the light.
First, Dr. Kaplan makes an incision and begins to break up the cataract with what looks like a tiny drill. Then, he appears to be vacuuming away what's left of that cataract. It's actually the clouded lens of the eye, which he then replaces with an artificial lens.
Okay, Doug, we're all done. You did great.
Within 15 minutes, it's all over. And just 1 week later, Doug says he can see me perfectly.
I am feeling amazing. It's like a whole new world again. And I am so grateful for Berkeley Eye Center and Dr. Kaplan and you, Mr. Bill Spencer. Thank you so much. You gave me my life back.
You know, Doug is such a very, very sweet man. He tells me today that his eyesight is better than it has ever been in his entire life. You know, my mission as Spencer Solves It is to simply help good people who are battling tremendous problems. If you're one of those people, please write to me at solvesit@kprc.com. That's solvesit@kprc.com. Happy holidays, everybody. I'm Bill Spencer.